Okay, so this is going to be a heavy one. It's going to be a heavy one, probably a long one too, just warning you. But before we get started, I really feel compelled to say thank you for everybody who tunes in particular, everybody who comments. I want you to know how much I appreciate each and every one of you. You all bring something beautiful to this channel, and every time I read your comments, it makes me smile. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Okay, wow, this is going to be really heavy, and it's been a long time since I've done a reading. But I really want to say the fact that it takes so long sometimes between readings, please don't take that as a sign of slackness. It's actually a sign of authenticity. So there's a lot that I'm going to touch on today. But there is a particular pastor who I've got to watch how I say that, because people are telling me off camera that I sound like I'm talking about pasta. I'm not talking about pasta, although I do love pasta. I'm talking about pastors, as in Pastor, pastors. There's a particular pastor I've been watching for a while, and I'm going to be talking about him actually. And this pastor, releases about 6 videos a day and has a, change of outfit in most of these videos. And I'm thinking to myself, firstly, that's a lot of time that you're taking from people. Shouldn't they be praying in that time instead? But the other thing is, how do you get that many messages? How do you get that many messages? I've told you before, I don't want to release messages unless I actually have something to say that I believe is valuable to you. So if I go quiet for a while, please know that I'm either dealing with some very practical things that keep me away from the camera, or I just haven't had a message that's strong enough to warrant making a video. So if I'm starting off by telling you that this video is going to be a heavy one, and I mean good heavy, ultimately good heavy, but you probably have a bit of an idea of where we're going with this. Very heavy. Okay. So I've had a weekend of a great deal of soul searching, prayer, and a bit of an existential crisis, all of that. And it started with this particular pastor who I've mentioned before, and I know I've said he's wonderful, but it became clear to me that he's been overtaken by the spirit of greed. Because I had a look, I actually tried to book a one-on-one, because he's always telling people, book a one-on-one session with me, book a one-on-one session with me, I want to talk to you. So I thought, you know what, this guy's amazing. He knows his Bible inside out, doesn't even have to open it to quote it, which is pretty impressive. But there's something in that, okay? He knows his Bible. Most pastors do, knows it very, very well. And some of the things he says are very accurate. In fact, it was because of something he said that was so accurate to me that I decided I do want to have a chat to him. But accuracy does not mean that somebody is walking the right path, okay? I wish that this was more of a linear thing, but I didn't want to write it down. Last time I wrote down notes, I ended up deleting that reading because it was just too scattered. So I'm just going to trust that it's going to come out the way it's meant to come out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Accuracy doesn't mean that somebody is walking the right path. But I didn't know this yet. So I went to book, and after the conversion rate, it's 360 Aussie dollars. And then I remembered in one of the videos he said, there was something he said that again was very specific to me. And he said, email me if this is you. And then I looked everywhere, all over the website, and realized there's no email there. So I said it in his channel. I just sort of wrote it there. This is me. How do I get in touch with you? Nothing. And then I looked and I realized that he has never replied to a single comment anyone has ever left on his channels. He's got 2. Not a single one. Not a single response. And I looked everywhere and realized the only way that you can access this guy is by paying him exorbitant amounts of money. So I spoke to a friend of mine who's a Christian, a very dear friend of mine. I spoke to her, and then she told me about this other pastor, and she said, look, I think this guy is amazing. I think you'll love him. He's really good. So I started to watch him. This was yesterday. And boy, he was good. I mean, the accuracy of the things that he would say about people's lives blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind, to the point where I actually then later when I was praying, I said, God, I think I'm going to shut down my channel. I don't think I want to do it anymore, because this guy clearly has a gift. And I can see now the difference between somebody who is, truly touched by God and somebody like me who maybe it's a little questionable now. I don't have that gift. I don't have his charisma. I don't have, his ability to command a room, and he's a very, very handsome man as well. I don't have any of that. And I don't think this channel is offering enough value. So I think I'm going to shut it down. And then God said to me, look a little deeper. That's what he said. So I started to look a little deeper, and I was horrified. This guy puts curses on people. He put a curse on a particular woman who was close to him, so within his family but not by blood, put a curse on her for her to die not long after she died. And he was talking about this on stage, and it has been confirmed by other people, she did die. He was talking about it on stage, and he said, yeah, I told her, you're going to die. And she did, and he was laughing. He was laughing about it. This guy puts curses on people to die and laughs about it. And then I kept digging, and the more I found, the more horrified I became. And it was interesting because he was wearing a Rolex at one point. And God, when I was praying to him afterwards, after the discovery, he said to me, you saw the watch and you flinched, but you ignored it. And it's true. I saw the watch and I did flinch. That was my body trying to tell me, wait a minute, a little bit of a red flag, right? He's supposed to be a man who he represents Jesus, doesn't he? Would Jesus have had a Rolex? Would he? But I did ignore it. I ignored it because his prophecies were so accurate. I mean, dates, addresses, everything. And because he had so much charisma. And yes, maybe I was a little dazzled by him. So I ignored that red flag. But it was there. And then God said to me, a good pastor should only take what he needs. Only what he needs. And I do actually know a beautiful pastor. I do know one, only one that I've ever met. And yes, dresses very simply, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, doesn't have the rock star vibe. But you know what? He's real. And it was such an important eye-opening experience for me, because now more than ever, I want to keep this channel. And I don't care if it's only 50 people who are going to tune in on average per reading. I don't care. I think this is really important. Because the few of you who do tune in, it tells me a lot about you, that you're not jumping on those bandwagons, yeah? Some of these pastors, some of these people on YouTube have minders. They get people flying from, all over the world to come and see them, to do their ridiculously expensive courses. And, the thing is, what I was talking to God about, because I got very disheartened by this. So I said, but why, God? Why would you give these powers of prophecy to people who are so corrupt? I don't understand. And that's when he gave me the answer, and it came flooding in. It was such an immediate answer. And just quickly, I want to say, when you ask God a question, but you ask him not for yourself, not for your own gain, but you ask him because of a genuine concern for humanity. Because what was breaking my heart was how many people are being led astray by these people. How many people are giving money to these people because they've lost all hope, and they trust these guys, particularly because they know their Bible. They sure know their Bible. And when someone knows their Bible and they're super accurate like that, of course, these people who are destitute are going to give them their money. But prophets should not profit. That's another thing God said to me. Prophets should not profit. They shouldn't. Remember, I did a reading, actually. Was it my very last reading? Where I was talking about no, that's the one that I deleted. Bugger. Okay. Well, yeah, I was talking about the difference between divination and prophecy. But a prophecy is something that should come to you, and you shouldn't pay for it. So please don't ever pay anybody for a one-on-one. Please don't do it. Now, the answer came to me very suddenly, which I was extremely grateful for. I saw Lucifer. God showed me Lucifer. And how Lucifer was a very beautiful angel, the most beautiful of all. Yeah, get that? Beautiful. He had beauty, as in physical beauty. He was the most beautiful angel and the most powerful angel. But it went to his head, and it corrupted him. And then, I'll cut it short. Then God gave all the powers to this beautiful angel, to the Archangel Michael, who is more powerful than Lucifer, and more beautiful, by the way. I have seen him. I know I've mentioned it before, but, for anyone who's fairly new, I have seen him. I've seen him many times. many times. He truly is extraordinarily beautiful. And people who have had near-death experiences have actually said the same thing. Tremendously beautiful angel, but he's incorruptible. This one is incorruptible, okay? And so it's hard because Lucifer, yes, he's beautiful. And yes, he's very powerful. Yeah, of course he's clever. Of course he is. And it's one of those things that I don't have the complete answer to you because it plays out on earth. That's why I'm telling you this. It plays out on earth too. You got your Lucifers of the world who sometimes are very beautiful, very powerful, very intelligent, very prophetic. But we're looking for the Archangel Michaels of the world. And so you don't want to become so cynical that you think anything that's beautiful or anything that's prophetic is corrupt. No. And I don't have the answer for you because even I got fooled. But you know what saved me yesterday? Because I only gave that particular pastor, I only gave him 1 day of my time. Yeah, 1 day of my time. That's all I gave him. And then I just went deep into prayer. And I was saved from going down the wrong path, from giving him any more of my time. So the only thing that's going to protect you is prayer, but a lot of it, because it's not easy. I know in these cards, he's hideous and he's gorgeous. I know. But in reality, it's not how it plays out. In reality, you get a lot of people who have the charisma, have the beauty, have all the words. And this scariest part is that they can have that accuracy too. They can have that precision of prediction. And people will take prediction to mean a sign that God is with them. In fact, he says it all the time. He says, how else could I know these things if Jesus wasn't with me? That's what he says. And I believed him, not going to lie. I fell right into that trap, but prayer got me out of it. So what I'm going to say is, for whoever's watching this, what you want to be doing at all times is looking for the difference between the Lucifers and the Michaels of the world. It's not easy, but pray, pray, pray. All right. And I do, just because I want to finish on a note of hope, I do know, I'm going to say 2 people. One of them is a very devout Christian, beautiful, most generous person I've ever known. But again, she's not up on the stage. She's mostly unseen, mostly unheard, apart from the fortunate few people that are in her space, and I count myself as one of them. She's very humble. Not commanding world audiences, definitely not, but incorruptible. But the other one, and I have to say this, he's an agnostic. And we've been friends for many years, and his ethical compass is just incredible. And he doesn't even do it because he believes in God, because he fears God. Doesn't even do it because of that. He just does it because he wants to do what's right. And I feel like I want to say that. Because I would take an agnostic with integrity any day over the year over a Lucifer who's pretending to be a prophet. Okay. All right. Let's go. That was deep. Oh, no, there we go. Before I start, I do have a passage from the Bible. So God wanted me to read this to you. And the reason I'm saying God wanted me to read this to you is because as I was praying over what I was about to leave, the message I was about to leave, something said, open up your Bible. And then I just got this impulse to just flick it to the first page that felt right. So I just flicked it open and my eyes immediately fell on this. When the unclean spirit has gone out of a person, it passes through waterless places seeking rest, and finding none, it says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when it comes, it finds a house swept and put in order. Then it goes and brings 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that person is worse than the first. That's what happens when you allow yourself to be corrupted, okay? It's not to say that once you have, it's impossible to get out of it, but the only thing that's going to get you out is prayer. No amount of self-discipline will do it. And when I say prayer, I mean a lot of it. A lot of it. 1, 2, 3. You should be. Actually, that's right. God said to me last night, you're addicted to prayer. But he said it in a funny way. And he was kind of showing me, some people are addicted to chocolate, some people are addicted to cigarettes, whatever. He said, you're addicted to prayer. So maybe take it up as an addiction. Just pray, 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 pray. Doesn't mean you got to get down on your knees, every hour and say, Our Father. No, I mean, just praising, constantly talk to God about everything. I'll even say, God, what should I wear today? What should I wear today? Or, should I go here or there? Just run everything by him. Show him that how do I say this? His opinion, almost like it's a trusted friend, but it's God. So with a trusted friend, the opinion might sometimes be right, might sometimes be wrong. God is that trusted friend you have that's always right. So you should be asking all the time. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go. What does God want to say to you? And I just want to say quickly, this is not divination. I'm not saying what's coming up in your future. No, I'm saying what does God want to say to you? All right, 1, 2. Oh my goodness. Demonic attachments can be very hard to break. But do you see that mask coming off? Thank you for the reminder, God. You are amazing. Thank you. Because that does remind me of something. I might not even... Oh, holy shit. Okay. What? Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. There's nothing else to say. Okay. Michael has spoken. Do you notice, by the way, also he landed on top of him? He landed on top of him. Yes. Oh, wait. Guys and girls, what is this? Something's poking through there. Yeah, that's the fake guy. This is incredible because last night God showed me, and see, I do forget these things. He showed me, he went back to a reading I did recently because he loved it, by the way. He loved this. Where is he? Where are you? I was talking about Jesus, and I was talking about, I held this up, I think it's my last reading, and I was talking about people who pretend, the counterfeit, the Lucifers of the world. And I said to you, wears the same outfit, look, has the same stance, right? Got a bit of fire going on there as well, even has a little bit of a sort of halo type thing going on. Yeah, got the aura there. And I said to you, but what's missing? Where's the heart? That's right, there is none. Be careful of these false prophets. And I'm not a prophet, by the way. For anyone who's thinking, well, aren't you? No, I don't call myself a prophetess. I'm nowhere near it. I don't have that kind of accuracy. I don't even want that kind of accuracy. I don't. All I am is just somebody who prays a lot. That's it. I don't have a title. I'm just someone who prays a lot. But yes, the attachments, it's about unmasking. I was shown last night that the mask that people wear, sometimes there are moments where they slip. And, I will give you an example. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I've got low storage. Okay, I'll wrap this up soon. I almost married a man who I thought was very sweet. I guess I felt quite protective of him for several reasons, but he was very sweet, and I just felt this real sort of desire to nurture him and always saw him in that way. But there was one moment where just for a second, it was a really quick moment, and then it passed. I saw this coldness, a ruthlessness in his eyes. I saw something I didn't like, and I'd never seen him that way before. But then it passed, and then he put the mask back on. The mask slipped just for a moment, and I won't tell you what ended up happening. I did end up dodging a bullet because I've always prayed and I'm very blessed, okay? But a lot of people don't. But what God says is that everybody gets that moment where that person's mask does slip, and God will let you see the truth of a person. And even if it's only for a split second, please don't ignore it. Please don't ignore it. Because masks, they're very hard to see through. Doesn't matter how, I did not see through this guy's mask at all. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you pray, you might not see through them. You might not, but there will be a moment. Even if it's just a moment where that mask comes off, you've got to believe what you see. Stay in prayer. Stay in prayer, and you're on the winning team. That's what I'm going to say. Stay in prayer, and you are on the winning team, okay? You will always land on top. I love you, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.